Hello and welcome to DeKoder. The people of Bihar have spoken and spoken emphatically. The number of voters who turned out to vote has been a record for the state. Women voters in particular have voted in remarkably high numbers. Now, exit polls often can't quite capture such turnout differences, especially when one category, like women, votes in unusually large numbers. Nevertheless, pollsters have the courage to publish their forecasts. Now, this is the average forecast made by all exit polls this time. The poll of polls, that is the average of all exit poll forecasts, clearly puts the NDA way above the halfway majority mark of 122 seats. The NDA is forecast to get 163 seats. That's a landslide. The Mahagathbandhan is forecast to get just 75 seats, and Prashant Kishore's new Jan Suraj party is forecast to get only 1 seat. So the big question is, how much can we trust these exit poll forecasts? So we studied exit polls over the last 30 years, from 1990 to the last assembly elections in Bihar in 2020, and found that exit polls in Bihar are in fact fairly accurate. This is totally unlike opinion polls in Bihar, which have a very poor record of getting it right only 44% of the time. Bihar's exit poll forecasts have been correct, that means projecting the right winner, 71% of the time. While this is a pretty high accuracy rate, how does Bihar compare with the All India accuracy figures? The 71% accuracy of exit polls in Bihar is slightly less accurate than the All India average of all exit polls for all assembly elections across the country. The All India accuracy rate is 79%. That is, they make the correct forecast of the winner 79% of the time. So Dorab, this kind of 71%, 79%, how does that compare in the international exit poll?
I would think that except when the fight is very tight, international exit polls tend to get it right. They have one big advantage, that there are only 2 or 3 parties fighting.
Right.
Here, and there are no independents of any consequence.
Right.
Here there are so many independents of any consequence. Turnout changes so often, like this time, turnout has changed a lot.
Right.
It's very, very difficult to get it right. I think it's pretty good that there's 71%.
So 71, but it's
not bad at all.
International maybe closer to 90%.
Yeah.
Oh, exit polls.
Exit polls, yes.
Yeah. Great. While this is the All India average of correct forecasts, there are considerable differences from one state to another in India. Let's take a quick look at the list of exit polls for assembly elections in the 19 largest states of India. And the accuracy is quite variable. While there are top 6 states in which exit polls have forecast the right winner 90% of the time, there are still 6 states where exit poll forecasts have been right only 60% of the time or less. In this list of exit poll reliability, Bihar's record of exit poll accuracy is around midway. Half the states above it, half the states worse than it. So Dorab, being about halfway, half the states more accurate than Bihar, half the states, what explains this variability?
I really don't know. I think the possibility is that too many people, for states like Gujarat, you don't have to do a poll.
Yeah. Because
it's so clear dominance of the party.
Voting back the same
say
party,
for instance, a state like Kerala, such high results is very surprising because very tight. Right. UP also I'm very surprised. Right. I think it's the number of people jumping into the polls at times, it's an important state politically.
Right.
So many more people get in and do polls and then get it wrong. It is a very, very difficult job to do.
Right. Interesting how it varies from state to state.
Yes.
And remember where we began? This time, turnout patterns, especially the surge in women voters, could be a major variable that exit polls haven't fully accounted for. Now that could make all the difference when the real results come in. For the first time in the history of Bihar, the actual number of women who came out to vote, not the percentage, the number of women who came out to vote exceeded the number of men voters. First time ever. In the last elections, despite the higher percentage women turnout, the number of men who voted was 1/3 of a million more than women. That's the number, absolute number. This time in 2025, the number of women who voted was 0.43 million more than men. So what was the reason behind this rise in the number of women voters, not just percentage? that actually has created history in 2025 elections by women overtaking men in the numbers who voted. It is not the electorate size that changed. The percentage of women versus men in the electorate has not changed between the two elections. Women as a percentage of overall electorate remains at 47.2 and a close 47.3%, and men remains at 52.8 and a close 52.7%. So now we come to the main reason for the record history being created. Why more women in numbers, absolute numbers, voted more than men in these Bihar 2025 elections. The main change in 2025 is the huge rise in women voter turnout. While men's voter turnout also increased, it increased by 8.3%. Women's voter turnout increased by much more, rising by nearly 12%. That is enormous. So Dorab, this kind of, in conclusion, this 12% increase from one election to another for women, they were already pretty high in turnout, and now it's a 12% increase, and then numbers, that record, it's history.
One doesn't know whether it's the 10,000 rupees that have done it. And what's surprising is that BJP, which is a dominant party, used to be a party of men.
Yes.
Now you're finding that, more women are voting for. Perhaps this is Nitish Kumar's gift to the BJP in terms of security, 10,000. They seem as the man who's given them all these gifts.
For years, from the
free
cycles for
correct,
school girls, for prohibition.
Yeah. And also, it also shows how, what Jay Lalita started is still paying dividends of giving mixies. Now we're giving money. Every state is now doing it.
Right.
Of course, the financial consequence will be born later.
Yeah, it is amazing actually that you have such a high turnout and a record historic election in Bihar. Do join us tomorrow. That's the 14th, Friday, on DeKoder at 7:30 a.m. and we will look at exactly what the trends are and forecast what's going to happen. And let me tell you, there will be some surprises. DeKoder on counting day starting at 7:30 a.m. all day. Thanks very much.